So in terms of cost, to set up a new corporation, I'm not a lawyer, but what I've seen traditionally, it will cost anywhere between, let's say, $1,500 and $3,000 just for the incorporation costs alone.
Mm-hmm.
And that obviously varies based on the amount of restructuring that has to be done and how detailed the articles are. So if it's a
Okay.
very bare bones article of incorporation, there's not many share classes being created and that sort of thing. It's usually on the lower end. And then when we're
Mm-hmm.
creating a lot of share classes and different rules of that incorporation, it can cost more. So that's just the bare bones initial cost. Then when you're
Mm-hmm.
dealing with, let's say, restructuring where you have to do a rollover and that sort of thing,
Mm-hmm.
it can vary pretty widely, but
Mm-hmm.
I always advise my clients that just expect in and around the $10,000 bill with legal and accounting. And I know that sounds
Mm-hmm.
expensive, but there are
Mm-hmm.
businesses that are more mature. And, you know, to me, $10,000, obviously it's a lot of money, but if you're sitting
Mm-hmm.
on a couple $100,000 or even $1 million of cash
Mm-hmm.
sitting in your operating company, think of it almost like an insurance policy. So it costs 10,000. Yes, it's painful, but it's
Mm-hmm.
1% of your holdings and you pay insurance for other areas. This to me is like a one-time insurance cost to you to protect your assets.
Mm-hmm.
And then in terms of maintaining that holding company, that can vary as well. If you go to, a like let's say a non-CA or any sort of firm that just puts out very poor work, you can save a
Mm-hmm.
lot of money on a year end. And I've seen, prices as low as, let's say, even $1,000. I would not advise that.
Wow.
I know it sounds crazy, but
Mm-hmm.
that's what I have seen. When you get people that don't really know what they're doing, they
Mm-hmm.
really undercut the market. Um, but again, when you have a holdco, there's levels of complexity that I wouldn't want to go to one of those places. And usually, when people are at the stage of a holdco, they realize the value of having a good accountant on their
Yeah.
team. So they're not going to pay that level. I'm just throwing it out there for people that don't know anything right now.
Yeah.
But if you're going with, let's say, a professional accountant, fully
Mm-hmm.
licensed, that sort of thing, you're looking in a range of like $2,500 to $3,500 a year
Mm-hmm.
to upkeep that holding company.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I mean that sounds reasonable. I mean, especially if you're saying, real estate assets are in there, which we know in Ontario starts at the millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that would definitely be well worth it to protect those assets.
1,000%.